What is going on, YouTube? Get that together real quick. What is going on, YouTube? It's your girl, Easy Breezy. So, in this video, I want to talk about how mean girls literally manifest easier. Now, when I say mean girls, right, I don't necessarily mean toxic, right? I don't mean rude. I don't mean inconsiderate in all scenarios, right? I just mean girls who are selfish, girls who have very strong boundaries and stand on them, right? Now, I don't necessarily embody the mean girl prototype, right? Because I have friends that just naturally just always had an attitude. I have friends that were just naturally snippy, especially with guys, that are just naturally, strict, naturally, just they don't really play about themselves, right? And I definitely did not stand on my boundaries for years. I didn't even learn how to defend myself until I turned like 25 years old, because every time a girl would throw shade at me at school or try to embarrass me or kind of low-key bully me at school, I never used to respond. I used to always look away or start doing something else and try to distract myself because I didn't know how to defend myself. I didn't know how to do it. You know what I'm saying? I didn't even know where to begin with that. Who the fuck you talking to? I couldn't even imagine myself doing that, right? So, when I was younger, I used to have certain family members that would just flip on me out of nowhere. I've had cousins that, used to stay with me or spend the night over my house a lot. I used to do their hair. And once we used to go to school, some of my cousins used to literally flip on me and start making fun of me in front of other people. What the fuck? Hey Sarah. Sarah's back. That brown is bomb on you, Breezy. Thank you. Hey Jaya. Hey Jaya. Did I say that right? Jaya? Is that right? Hey girl. So yes, mean girls manifest. Mean girls manifest better and easier because they stand on their standards. They stand on their boundaries. They don't play about themselves. They don't play about their respect, right? When you are in that people pleaser syndrome and you're always trying to create a favorable environment for other people, you're always putting other people's feelings first, you're always trying to be the agreeable one, a lot of times your feelings get overlooked. A lot of times your boundaries get stepped on. So as long as you're being the nice girl to certain, even women or especially men, when you're being the nice girl, a lot of times you are also playing the doormat. And the doormat never gets what she wants. The doormat never gets what she wants, period. So I want to talk about some of my experiences with guys, and how my evolution just came about when it came to my self-respect and just how I demanded people to treat me, right? And I didn't even have to really force people to do this. It's just when I saw myself differently, that's when people started to treat me differently, right? So let's say, okay, let's talk about females first, because friends and relationships are different. They're the same, but they can be very different in different ways. So in my earlier friendships, right, I can't say that I had any boundaries. I did have any boundaries. And my friends weren't bullies, you know what I'm saying? My friends were pretty much, supportive, equally yoked with me, during that time and stuff like that. Probably still are. We're just some of my me and some of my friends that I had, back in the day, were just not seeing eye to eye, or we went separate ways or whatever. But during those days, I was still like an introvert. I was still very shy. I was still kind of like, I wouldn't say docile, but I was kind of just like very agreeable. I guess you can say very agreeable. And, when it came to my friends wanting, certain access like to my wigs and wanted me to do their hair. And a lot of my friends would try to claim my wigs before I even got them. Like, as a kid, let me know when you get a blonde wig. Let me know when you get a 30-inch wig. And, instead of me saying like, hold on, you can't just book my wigs for free. Like, you can't just book them. Like, if I want to do a collaboration with you on my channel, I'm gonna invite you like, hey, what are you doing tomorrow? Are you free to model for my channel or whatever? But it came to the point where a lot of my friends were expecting that type of treatment. And I don't blame them for that. I blame myself for that because I didn't have any rules, right? And it's crazy because even when I did try to set some rules, they didn't even follow that. So like one of my main friends that I used to have on my channel, I used to tell her, just simply come with your hair braided and come with your makeup done. And that's all I used to ask of her. I didn't used to ask for no payment, no tips, no nothing, because I felt like she brought value to my channel as well. And this friend, y'all, would literally like ignore that. She would literally ignore that. And even though, it was so, those rules or those, stipulations were so simple, it's like because my friends didn't really have that respect for me, or they didn't have that healthy fear to not follow my simple rules, a lot of my friends would just not abide by them. And if you're the friend that is in a group of girls and you're the one that does hair or you're the one that does makeup, you know how you're a hot commodity in a group full of girls. Okay? If you don't understand that perspective, you just not gonna get it. But if you know, you know. If you do hair and you have a group of friends, or you do makeup and you have a group of friends, honey, you are a hot commodity. And friends will literally fight over your energy, fight for your like literally your energy. You know what I'm saying? So like in those situations where I just wanted them to at least meet me halfway and they just didn't, or not all of them, but some of them just didn't, it was hard for me to be like, girl, like, I'm asking you to do one thing for me. Like, I'm giving you a free wig. I'm giving you a free install. Just come braided and come with your makeup done. Like, why is that so difficult? Every time you pull up to my house, oh, I left my makeup at my job. Can you please do my makeup? That's fine, but I know you're not paying me. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's fine, but I know you're not paying me. So it's like, why are you making me do more? You know what I'm saying? When I'm just asking you to meet me halfway. Hey, Jamar. Thank you for coming back. So yes, it was hard for me to set rules for myself. It was hard for me to set boundaries. And what was normally, or what started off as being fun for me, ended up being like an inconvenience, right? So this is the moment I really realized, something ain't right. I need to be going in my own direction because these people do not appreciate me. Number one, my astrology. Number one, my astrology. And I don't know if y'all, subscribe to your natal chart or whatever, but my natal chart has definitely confirmed things within myself that I already felt, and, kind of let me know, like, this is the next step in your life. But I have a north node in Sagittarius and my south node is in Gemini, which basically, talked about in so many words, you will be very popular in your hometown. You'll be popular to your close knit of friends, your close network, which is Gemini energy. But as you grow up and as you know, reach your Saturn return, which is around your 30s, you'll start to realize that people that you grew up with don't value you the way they used to. They don't appreciate you. And you're not necessarily gaining anything by being your hometown hero. You know, so that's not going to be the thing that fulfills you in life. You can be popular in your hometown all you want. You can, you know, be that person that people used to go to all you want. But if you don't evolve past that and get in your Sagittarius energy, which is your high priest, you know, high priestess energy, your travel energy, you know, you got to go out, you got to get on these planes, and you have to travel to feel fulfilled in life. You have to get in your preacher type energy, your teacher type energy, your coach type energy. You know, all that is like Sagittarius energy, is leaving your hometown and taking your wisdom, taking your knowledge, and going other places. So a lot of times I've read in, you know, multiple different dissertations of that placement, I will never really feel fulfilled unless I move out of my hometown. Which is so crazy because everyone experiences life different. Everyone perceives life different. I have a brother that already lived in a different country. Already lived in multiple different states. It's like nothing to him. He's a Scorpio. I have a Scorpio cousin who has literally lived in different states like it's nothing. But me, you know, I don't know what it is about me, but maybe it's, I don't know, because I'm a Taurus moon. Maybe it's because, you know, of my South Node or whatever, but I've always felt comfortable in my hometown. You know, I've always had that fear of traveling other places and living in another state. Like, honestly, I can't even imagine living in another state. It just seems so far away from my dad and so far away from my mom. And I'm just like such a family oriented person. Like, I love being around my family, that living in another state, it seems like one of the biggest challenges I can ever face. But it seems like, you know, simultaneously something that will totally fulfill me and totally make me feel like I'm finally grown. You know what I'm saying? So, another thing that really made me see that, girl, like, this ain't it for you. Like, you need to move on. You need to move, you know, you need to do something that you haven't done before. You need to do something that challenges you. Is people, like, literally people tell me this. And I'm not gonna, you know, I'm not trying to, like, you know, spread any negative energy or whatever on my friends or whatever, because I still love them. I still want the best for them. But I've definitely had people in my life that told me, like, why do you still hang with them? Like, why aren't you, like, you know, doing bigger things? Or why aren't you doing this? Or, you know, I can't believe you still hang with those girls or whatever. Like, certain, you know, the universe will give you certain little keys and certain little clues, you know, to push you and nudge you into the direction you should be going, right? So, like, just different things. And not only, I mean, let alone my own experience, you know? Like, if I try to, you know, be of value to a friend, or I try to give her advice because I want to see her business take off, or her influencer, you know, endeavors take off, and I try to, quote unquote, you know, insert myself and be like, you know, you should do this, or, you know, I'll help you do this or whatever. It's almost like my friends used to, like, look annoyed. Like, okay, here goes Akia again, you know, butting in my shit again, you know, butting in my business. And the last thing I want to feel as someone that really wants to see someone win is an inconvenience. You know what I'm saying? The last thing I want to feel like is an inconvenience. So I basically, you know, I was really forced. I was really forced into solitude. I was really forced into pursuing my journey alone, you know? And it ultimately was a blessing. Another thing that somebody told me that was so profound is one of my friends that I knew from back in the day. he told me that, you know, like, I like what you're doing. I like the teaching stuff that you're doing and stuff like that. But you be trying to help other people and help other people build their brand up, but you need to pour that energy into you. He was like, it's easy to help someone else or get on someone else's team, or play the background for someone else's dream, but it's hard to really like stand in your vision and pursue your goals and carry out your dream. And when he said that, y'all, I literally felt so much conviction in that moment. I was like, oh my gosh, am I playing small? Am I playing it small? Like, we need to go bigger. We need to dream bigger, think bigger, go bigger. So that was another confirmation, a divine confirmation that I really am playing it way too small. I'm using my gifts and abilities to try to help people, right? That don't even, number one, don't need my help or don't even want my help, right? The help that I think I'm giving certain people, they may not even be in their journey. They may not even be able to really take what I'm saying and apply it yet, because they're, just at another place in their journey. You know what I'm saying? So, so many things have been pushing me to be the face of my brand again. Put myself on camera. Talk about my ideologies. Talk about my opinion. Really be out here not afraid of people judging me. So yeah. And I guess I think I kind of got off track, but going back to that friend, situation, I really had to learn, like, girl, like, you are not going to get these girls to respect you or to even, take your feelings or time into consideration, your energy into consideration, unless you really start like standing 10 toes on your boundaries, right? Hey Jamal, hey Suzanne, thank you. I just installed this wig on myself. This is from this is from World New Hair, and I'm gonna be posting this tutorial probably like in like 2 or 3 weeks. So yes. So yeah, I had to stand on my boundaries. So here's where it got kind of sticky with, my friendship situation. I really tried to set a boundaries for myself, right? But I'm still in my people pleaser mode. I'm still in that, that mode in my life. And I told my friends, all you have to do is just give me $150. Just pay me $150. You can still get a wig. You can still get an install. Still arrive braided. But I had to put some type of price on it because I just started to feel like very unappreciated, very tried, and I started to feel like people around me were just getting more and more entitled. And like between 2018 to 2022. I was getting buku wigs, y'all. Like, I was literally getting like 5 wigs a week. I would have, and then I could not push out that many videos like that fast. So I would have like 30 boxes of wigs in my living room. Like, I need models, Now, I didn't use all of my wigs on my friends. I would invite girls on my channel who had alopecia. I would invite girls who had, certain nerve disorders where they would pull out their own hair. So I did, some humanitarian, contributions with my wigs. But, I had a large group of girlfriends that all was like, like, let me know when you get this wig, girl. Let me book an appointment with you, even though I'm not paying you. Like, girl, how you gonna book me and you ain't got no money? Anyways. So yeah, I told my friends, at least pay $150. And y'all, even getting my friends to pay that amount for a wig and an install, it was still like pulling teeth, right? So at that time, I'm just like, you know what? My friends really don't respect me. Like, they really think that like they can just sweet talk me or be like, I don't have the money. Can you please do it for 50 or whatever? And it's like, I would continue to do this, but I've been doing this for 10 years with y'all. I've been doing this for 10 years. Even before I was getting sponsored, I was still doing y'all hair and doing it for dirt cheap prices. So the fact that we're in our 20s and you can't even create a budget for your best friend, supposedly, right? Your best friend, it just makes me think that you don't really care. Like, that's the only thing that I can think. Because as a grown woman with a job and a car, you have money for things that you want. You have money for things for guys. You have money for, clothes that you want or makeup that you're buying or whatever. But if you can't make a budget for your best friend, like, I don't know what to say. Like, if I was in your shoes, I would at least be coming with $50. I would at least be coming with, something like at least what she asked for. You know what I'm saying? So, that was telling me that, I really needed to stand on something. Like, I needed to stand on something because I'm tired of being the yes man. I'm tired of being that girl that's just always there. Even though I give y'all a little stipulation, y'all can't even follow that. So it was just making me very drained to have those type of girlfriends, right? So, as, things happen, as we bumped heads and as we went our separate ways, I began to attract friends that actually did begin to respect me or just respected me just in general. A whole new group of girlfriends. That's why, like, I don't really support the phrase no new friends, because give me all the friends. Give me all the supportive girlfriends. Give me all the girlfriends that reciprocate energy. Give me all the compassionate females with money that actually want to patronize me. Like, let's bring girls like that into my life. You know what I'm saying? Hey, Whiskey James. Yeah, bring girls like that in my life. And once I, separated myself from my old group of friends and I started to befriend my clients, I started to befriend girls that I met, as I just started going out by myself, solo dolo. I was just attracting this new frequency of girls that literally wanted to support me, that didn't see me as, oh, she did this for free for me so many times. That's what I expect of her. They were paying me, like tipping me, even when I invited some of my new friends to come to get their hair done as a collaboration on my channel, because I had a wig that's been laying around for weeks, even she paid me full price for it. And she didn't even pick out the wig. You know what I'm saying? So it's just that love. It's that appreciation. And it's just that love frequency that I'm just like, I'm just appreciating so much right now. And I'm taking it all in. So yeah, I had to learn that, it wasn't until I said, you know what, if you can't show up this way for me, we're not going to have a relationship. It wasn't until I established that boundary and actually stood on it when I actually started to attract those type of experiences and attract those type of people, right? So, when it comes to being mean, it's not about being rude. It's not about, being nasty. It's about standing 10 toes for yourself. It's about being unwavering when it comes to your standards on how people should treat you, right? So another like scenario, oh my god, y'all, I have to tell you this. This is gonna make y'all jaw drop, right? So one time, one of my friends was drunk, right? And and I picked her up for something. I think we had a barbecue or something. I had to pick her up, and she was drunk, and we was like sitting at the kitchen table talking. So tell me why this girl was like, "Can I tell you something, Zakia?" And I was like, yeah. I'm just laughing at her because I'm like, just her drunk ass. And she's like, um, you know how every person in our friend group has a role, so and so does this, so and so does that. I work in this industry, whatever, and you do hair. I just feel like you don't know your role. I was like, what is this drunk bitch talking about? But I still didn't get mad. I was just sitting there like, what? Like, where is this going? So I'm like, what you mean? She's like, I just feel like you don't know your role. And she was like, we could have been like arrogant Tay and Ari, but it's like you don't be wanting to do it and blah blah blah. And I told her, like, hold on. I was like, Ari probably pays Tay. You know that, right? Like, even though they're besties or whatever, like, she probably pays him. Like, I'm sure he does it. He's not just doing Ari's hair for free. He has other clients. At that time he was doing Nikki's hair. So, I'm pretty sure she pays him. You know what I'm saying? She's like, well, I just feel like we should collab, and you don't be wanting to do it, and you just don't know your place. And y'all, I was just so flabbergasted because I'm like, okay, this is the last sign from God. This is the last sign from God that I need. Not saying that she's a bad person, but I'm just saying where she was going with that, I just totally did not align with that. You know what I'm saying? I could have agreed with, let me pay you $50. I don't have it like that, but I still want to be consistent with Galaxy Girl, and I still want to be your consistent brand ambassador, blah, blah, blah. I could have even got with that. But it was literally, you don't know your place because you're not doing my hair for free. Y'all, that's the moment I realized, yeah, it's time for me to head out. It was fun here, but I need something more. I need something that's going to pour into me. I need someone that desires to be my brand ambassador and pay me. Because guess what? There are girls out here willing to do that. Not necessarily pay me, top dollar, but pay me something to stay in my rotation. So it's like I had to choose that for myself. You know what I'm saying? And yes, that situation helped push me to that decision, which I thank the universe, God, for, because a lot of things, I probably would still be in a lot of situations if it wasn't for me being fed up, But after that interaction, I realized, yeah, these girls do not appreciate me. These girls do not value me. They don't respect me. And I'm just I'm just tired. You know what I'm saying? I'm tired. This has been going on for a decade. I'm tired. I'm still trying to show up, and you're not growing at all. You're not showing up for me at all. And another situation with another of my friends, one time we fell out for like 6 months. And during that time, she started going to another hairstylist and actually paying her, right? Which was so crazy to me because the whole time I was doing your hair, as your best friend, you couldn't find $20 to tip me. You couldn't tip me $50. You couldn't pay me. You couldn't include me in your budget at all. And I'm supposed to be your best friend. But the moment we fall out, you can magically find the money to start going to another hairstylist. So it's just about what I chose for myself. I don't judge them. It's what I chose for me. So once I chose, respect, once I chose reciprocation, they fell off. And I ended up attracting girls that embodied everything that I deserved, or everything that I felt like I deserved, for that matter. Right? So another thing when it comes to men, when I tell you, I am not proud of this. I'm really not. I'm really ashamed of this. But I used to be the situationship queen. When it came to guys, I was never in like relationships until I turned like 26 years old or something like that. I was never in real relationships. I was always in situationship with guys. Situationships with guys. So like in high school and like, years, I mean, I did have a boyfriend right after high school, but that was crazy and abusive. That was just crazy. But after that, maybe like, I don't know, the next 6 years after I graduated, I would be talking to guys, but we would always end up in this situation ship type dynamic. And I never demanded men to really show up for me. I never demanded men to commit to me. So I would be like this guy's friend, or, even worse yet, probably like his fun girl, probably in his mind, right? While in my mind, I'm thinking we're building a bond. I'm thinking we're building a friendship. We're just spending all these months together. We're just getting to know each other. But in his mind, he's probably like, well, this girl's giving me, this camaraderie. She's giving me romance. She's giving me, support and friendship and all this stuff. Without commitment, I don't even have to commit to this girl, And the moment I realized that I was really giving too much of myself without requiring much of anything is when I was talking to this guy, y'all. I was talking to this guy for like 2 years, okay? In my mind, we are building, in my mind, we're building a connection, we're getting closer, and, we're intimate and things like that. And one day I went on, I think it was like Snapchat or something or whatever it was, and I seen him in the car with this girl. And they were like on a date or something. And that moment really crushed me. That moment really crushed me because I'm like, was I like a side piece to this guy? You know what I'm saying? Like, how did he view me this whole time? And that really hurt my feelings. You know what I'm saying? So after that, I realized, you know what? I can't go by the mindset, what's understood don't have to be explained. I can't go by the mindset, I can give this guy all this energy, and because I'm giving him energy, he knows to give me that back. Or he knows that that's what I expect. I had to literally start opening my mouth and telling guys what I expect, what I want, what I don't want, and what I will not allow. So after that very profound experience, right? I'm slowly growing. This story is getting somewhere. I'm slowly growing, right? So one day, this is like years later or whatever, I'm chilling with this guy or whatever. And we were friends since high school. So this is kind of like a nostalgic, situation. So I already feel comfortable with him. And this guy is, I invited him to my room, but we're just like chilling, not doing nothing sexual. I don't plan on doing anything sexual either. So he's like basically trying to shame me because I don't want to like get intimate with him. So I guess he wanted me to like be kissing on him or something or whatever. And I literally told him to his face, I was like, the next guy that I have sex with is gonna be my man. I think this is like when I was like, this is like 2000, maybe 17. So I think I was like in my early 20s or 24, 23 or something like that. I don't know. But I was like, yeah, I was like, the next guy I have sex with is going to be my man. Like, I'm going to have to be in a relationship with him. And he looked at me, he was like, relationship? He was like, I ain't ready for no relationship right now. That's quick or whatever. And I literally said, I was like, I mean, it don't have to be you. I didn't say it had to be you. I'm just saying that that's what's going to happen in my life. And y'all, when I said that, I felt so empowered. Because, yeah, nigga, like, it don't have to be you. I never said it had to be you. So he just laughed it off. He was just like, you know, whatever. And I was like, yeah, like, you know, and we didn't do nothing that night. And after I set that, you know, very, you know, clear boundary, he didn't try me. So yeah, my boy, like I said, the next guy that I have sex with is going to be my man. He's going to be my boyfriend. We're going to be committed to each other in a relationship. And I never said that it had to be you. Okay. So, okay, so JoJo said, women tend to all date the same men unknowingly, but predictability participate whatever. I know what you mean. Participate in polygamy. Ladies, you're better off dating the boring guy from the comic book convention. Now, the thing is, I know where you're going with that, and I totally used to agree with that, but I've also dated a guy that was nerdy, that was supposed to be the good guy. He wasn't hood at all. You know what I'm saying? He was like, you know, supposed to be like the stand-up, you know, type of guy. He claimed to be a family man. He was like, you know, the president of his college. You know, I dated a guy that had that good guy prototype, and he ended up being abusive and controlling. And he betrayed me for another girl. So it's not really about what the guy looks like or what he's interested in or his prototype, right? Because, you know, you can have a girl that looks like a sweet girl or looks like a good girl, but her self-esteem can be so low that every time she gets in an argument with her boyfriend, she goes off and has sex with her ex or something. Or she has, you know, she entertains other men. So, you know, it's not really about the prototype. It's about someone's actual character. Whiskey James said, what he is showing you. Yes, it's what he's showing you. So, you know, people love to say, you know, girls always, you know, they should be accountable for their abuse, right? They should be accountable for them getting cheated on and them getting betrayed and them getting abused because you should have went for the nerd. You should have went for the good guy. Yeah, I did go for the good guy. I did go for the good guy, you know? And it all just depends on your discernment at the end of the day. But yeah, I mean, that's what they call narcissists, though. You know what I'm saying? Like, narcissists literally wear a mask. They pretend to be a certain prototype. They pretend to be the nerd. They pretend to be the good guy. And they just end up being abusive. Like, straight up, you know? So now I know it's not even about what the guy looks like or how he dresses. That is a part of it, but that's not it in totality. It's just not it. I dated a hood prototype guy, right? That is, because we're still friends to this day. He's 10 times more sweeter. He's never disrespected me when we got into a disagreement. He's never tried to take jabs at my self-esteem. He's never called me out my name, you know, but the good guy prototype was literally a demon behind closed doors. Literally a demon behind closed doors. You know what I'm saying? So ladies, listen, it's all use your discernment. You know what I'm saying? It's not about how the guy looks. I promise you. Don't listen to that. It's not about how the guy looks. It's about how he acts. It's about how he treats you. It's about how he behaves when he's angry at you, right? I seen JoJo. I seen you had one more comment. It's about the type of guy. Look at the news. You always see tatted up dudes beating on women. It's not true. Like, I'm sorry. I'm so sorry. I would agree with that, but it's just not true. Like, the guys that be unaliving their girlfriends, they be looking like regular men. They be looking like nerdy men. Like, matter of fact, I just had a client, well, my client currently, her little sister, rest in peace, you know, this situation just happened, so it's still very fresh and she's still grieving. But her little sister just got unalived by her boyfriend, right? Like last year sometime at the end of the year. And her boyfriend was not the hood type. I promise you. He did not have tattoos. He had glasses. He was like, he looked like the nerdy type. You know what I'm saying? So it's just like, it's not about what a guy looks like. It's never about that. There are guys on the news right now, you know, that have been convicted for unaliving their girlfriends, and they don't have tattoos. They look like stand-up men. They look like normal men. So yeah, it's about how a guy acts, right? So yeah, so with that situation with that guy, that really did teach me that if I don't set boundaries and if I don't stand on boundaries, then I'm just gonna be stepped on. So that's when I got that whole what's understood don't have to be explained thing. I got that out my mind completely. Okay. So, then I had that second experience with that guy when I was like, you know, I'm not having sex, you know, with a guy unless we're in a relationship. That happened when I was like a little bit older, right? So now, a couple years later, I get a little bit older and I'm learning even more, right? I'm looking around at these girls that have these beautiful, abundant lives. They have these relationships. You know, they're getting spoiled. They're getting treated right in their relationships. They're respected. And none of these women were friendly. None of these women were friendly. All of these women were extremely strict. They were strict on their man. Now, I'm not saying that they were mean. You know what I'm saying? They're still sexy. They're still, you know, the trophy type. They're still, you know, whatever, accommodating, valuable. But they stand on their boundaries and their standards. They don't allow a man to do anything to them. They don't allow anything to be done to them in their relationships. And if a guy is not coming correct, a girl with confidence is moving on. She's moving on, not necessarily to the next man, but she's moving on in life until she attracts someone who's on her frequency. And not even just frequency, but I mean, yeah, that too, but someone who is actually coming with her standards and who can respect her boundaries, right? Naturally, right? You don't have to train a man to respect you. You don't have to cuss him out a million times to respect you. He just respects women as a whole, you know? So now fast forward, I was, and I'm so glad that, you know, we kind of foreshadowed this story, because how I referenced before, I was in a relationship with a guy that is supposedly the stand-up guy, supposedly, you know, the family man, the good guy, you know, that has a clean reputation, never went to jail, right? All of these things that should add up to a stand-up person. But in that relationship, he was so controlling. He was so jealous. He was so verbally abusive, physically abusive, mentally abusive. And I'm going to explain the difference between these types of abuse, right? Number one, verbal abuse is when you just don't have any censor when it comes to what you say to people when you're angry. You're willing to go below the belt. You're willing to take jabs at people's self-esteem. You're willing to say things with the intent on making someone feel inferior to you or less valuable to you, which goes right into mental abuse. Because when you verbally abuse someone, you know, if that person is still trying to work for your approval, and if that person is still trying to gain your trust, your approval, and trying to be submissive and feminine and agreeable for the relationship, that can affect someone's subconscious. That can affect how someone views themselves, you know? And that falls right into the mental abuse, which automatically trickles into the spiritual abuse. Because when you stop putting God first and you start putting man first, right? When you stop putting your intuition first and what God is telling you, and you start putting that man's feelings first and what he wants of you and how he wants you to behave and how he wants you to act and how he wants you to serve him, and all of your energy is going to his needs, that takes you away from yourself. That takes you away from the Most High. That takes you away from your true, authentic self. And, you know, I guess that falls into the spiritual abuse, you know? Especially like when guys try to use religion to manipulate women. They say, you know, the man is the head and it's God, then man, then woman. So they try to make women feel like we're inferior. So we shouldn't take our own feelings into consideration and we should only care about their feelings and their needs. You know, that is spiritual manipulation. That is religious manipulation, right? So then, you know, here comes the physical abuse. Now, I always, you know, say this disclaimer before I mention this, because I have I have so much respect for women that have made it out of extreme physically abusive relationships. I never got a black eye. You know, I never had a busted lip. I never, you know, was almost, you know, unalived. So I have respect for, you know, women that have traversed those situations in those scenarios. And even though I've experienced physical abuse, I don't necessarily make it seem like it was like a level 10. My physical abuse that I experienced in my relationship was like a level, I feel like it was like a level 4. I feel like level 5 is when someone starts marking you up, right? But everything under 5 is just like putting your hands on me, you know, scratching my face, you know, mushing me, or, you know what I'm saying? Like doing like little stuff like that, destroying my property, you know, like damaging my property and stuff like that. Like that is like level 1 to 4, you know what I'm saying? Type abuse. And it's not even funny, but it's funny because I had to be transparent about abuse to really understand it. What is my abuse tolerance? You know what I'm saying? I had to really be real about what my abuse tolerance was, because I accepted 1 through 4, you know, I accepted that level, but, you know, if it got to a 5 or a 6, like what would have happened then? Would I have stayed then? Would I have left? You know, if you've never been in a situation, you don't know. You just don't know. So yeah, in that relationship, there was so many things that I put up with, so many things that I dealt with that I accepted in my life, and it was really tearing me down as a person. Like this guy was literally telling me not to do TikToks because I looked too sexual in my TikToks. Even the TikToks where I was fully dressed, he would find another reason. Well, you have sexual eyes. Nigga, these are my eyes. I can't switch my eyes out. If I look sexual in my videos, it's not because I'm trying to gain the attention of a man. These is my eyes, bruh. So it was always something with him, right? Then it was like he would try to stop my creative flow. He, you know, wanted to be famous. He wanted to be a singer and, you know, whatever, which he still has the potential to do. You know, he's very talented. But in that relationship with him, he would try to stop me from putting out music. Like he wouldn't want to help me. Every time I told him, you know, I want to shoot a video, blah, blah, he would be like, you know, slow down, you know, don't. And I feel like he didn't want me to pass him or do something that he didn't do first or whatever. And so in so many other ways, you know, he was just jealous. He was just a jealous man. You know, I don't really know how else to explain it. And that is what I allowed in my life for that time being, right? Now, of course, I didn't know that relationships really, maybe they do evolve, maybe they do evolve, but I feel like that relationship evolved in some areas, but it just regressed in others. And I felt like it just wasn't sustainable for the type of person I was. I love for real, meaning I'm going to let you be free. I'm going to support every and anything you want to do. Unless I feel like you're destroying your life, then I'm going to say something. But if it's something that you just genuinely enjoy doing, I'm going to support you. I'm going to patronize you. My parents loved me in a way that made me feel free. Meaning, when I was younger, if I wanted to join a club, my parents supported it. If I wanted to join a sport, my parents supported it, unless they couldn't pay for it or whatever. Everything that I wanted to do, my parents supported it. They never like questioned me too much or asked me no, or like asked me why do I want to do that, or tried to stop me. So my idea of love is letting someone be them and pushing them to be the highest form of whatever they want to be, right? You know how people say, I love hard, right? But really, that really translates into I'm controlling, I'm jealous, and I get violent. If you hurt me, that's what people really mean when they say I love hard. Baby, that's not how I love. Okay? I'm nowhere even on that spectrum. I guess I'm on the spectrum, but I'm not nowhere near that degree. You know what I'm saying? Like, when I love someone, I just want you to reach your highest self. And I expect you to want me to reach my highest self too. Right? But in that relationship, I was just doing too much for him. I was shining too much for him. I was manifesting too much for him. So it would bring out insecurities in him, and he would try to literally dim my light. Literally. He would literally try to stop me from doing things, and stop me from posting, and stop me from just being me, right? So that was another situation that really forced me. Like, even though, yes, I am the one that, kick his ass out of my apartment, I do feel like it was almost forced. Like, if it wasn't for the universe exposing certain text messages to me, I probably would have still been there, right? Because I had technically a high abuse tolerance. I probably would have been the type of girl to still be in like a level 7, 8, type of abusive relationship, and still would have been there, because I'm the type of girl, like, y'all, I be in situations for longer than needed. Like, I love, I don't know, I love being in relationships. I love relationships. But the people pleaser syndrome in me, the one that wants to prove that I'm worthy, and prove that I'm feminine, and prove that I'm wifey material, and prove that I'm down for you. You know what I'm saying? Like, that side of me would have allowed me to stay in an abusive situation for longer than needed, right? So when I got the conviction to figure out certain things that needed to be found out. I don't want to get into that now, but maybe I'll get into it in another video or another live. But I found things, in his phone that really sealed the deal for me. You can yell at me. You can call me out my name. You can punch my windshield and shatter my windshield. You can put your hands on me. You can, you can try to belittle me. You can throw other women in my face at that time, not currently. But, I was allowing all these things to happen to me, and I was still willing to be in the relationship and still work on things and still come up with solutions to things and still forgive and move on and stuff like that. But this one thing that I found in his phone was straight betrayal, and something in me, it was like the relationship switch just kind of shut off. It just shut off. I couldn't do it no more. Because if we're going through hell together, at least we're together. You know what I'm saying? At least we're together going through hell. Even if it's mainly your demons, you know? But the moment you show me, or the moment I find out that you're not really with me, and that your head is somewhere else or your heart is somewhere else, and you're willing to throw me under the bus to appease another woman or whatever, that's when I realized, oh no, you're not with me. You're not with me. I'm not going through hell with you no more. No more. No more. So, I got myself out that situation by the grace of God, untouched, you know, scratch free, which is a blessing because a lot of women don't, you know. But once I made it out that situation, that's when I went to a whole nother level of self-respect, right? That's when I went to a whole nother level of boundaries. That's when I went to a whole nother level of standards. So currently, right, in my life, in my dating life, number one, I look at guys as friends. I don't really be like falling deep in love, like love at first sight. Like I let me stop lying. I really do. I'm not gonna lie. I miss love at first sight. I'm not gonna lie. I'm the type of girl to tell a guy I love you the same night we meet. I mean, I'm not, I'm not the type to just be in a relationship off rip, but I am the type to tell a guy, I love you. Like the first night we meet, because I've literally done that before. But anyways, story here nor there. Whether I'm a hopeful romantic or not, I still learned to stand on my boundaries. I still learned to stand on my standards. And now, I'm not going to say that I've mastered my mean girl, because, I could still, be a little more stiff or whatever. But I've definitely gotten better when it comes to not allowing certain treatment from guys. And I don't even fight for my respect. Like, one time this guy said something very disrespectful to me. And at the time, I still kind of came into my, I don't know if this is a trauma response or if this is just like the old me that I can't really erase. But when he said that disrespectful comment, I tried to be solution based, and I tried to be like, well, I wasn't trying to do that, and da da da, and we got back cool after he said that thing. And then literally, y'all, I went to sleep and woke up the next morning and was like, oh, you got me fucked up. Oh, this nigga got me fucked up. And I didn't say nothing to him. I blocked him, and I never spoke to him again. Because you will not talk to me like that. I'm not the type of girl that you can talk to like that. I don't know what I look like, but I'm going to show you better than I can tell you. I'm not the one. I'm not that type. I'm not the type that you can talk to like that. So after we, became cool after that, the next morning, I came to my senses, and I was like, Zakia, like, don't ever, like, huh? Like, what are we talking about here? And I blocked him. Because no, sir. You know what I'm saying? Because you're only going to think that you can do this again in the future, if not 10 times worse. You know what I'm saying? So yeah. Another situation was when I got into a disagreement with this guy or whatever. And before, the old me would go back and forth, try to defend myself, try to make my point clear, try to, go back and forth, right? In this situation, I said, okay, this is what he wants me to do. He wants me to go back and forth. He wants me to get my emotions all riled up, and he wants this. You know what I'm saying? So that once I get on 10, now he can start treating me like I'm the crazy one, right? Oh, you take it too far. Oh, you this, you that, or whatever the case. So this last time we got into a disagreement, it didn't even turn into a disagreement. It was just him arguing with himself. Because at that moment, I decided that I'm not arguing with no one. I decided that I'm not going to let anyone force me out of my character or force me out of my peace, right? And y'all, it was so funny. I'm gonna talk about this in a story time one day, not today, because I don't want to get too much off the topic. But when I tell you, this guy was literally like literally yelling at himself for like 30 minutes straight, and I was just sitting there, because you're not going to siphon my energy this time. We're either going to have fun when we're around each other, we're going to have good vibes, but we're not going to do this trauma bond thing. We're not doing that. Because even though I understand how trauma bonding can bring two people closer, that's not really my type of love. Like, to be honest, that's not what I like to do. I'm not the type of girl to be play fighting my man. I'm not the type to fake argue. I've just never been that type. And that may make me boring. You know what I'm saying? I know a lot of guys like feisty women, or they like the women with attitudes and the woman that's gonna mush them and stuff like that. But I'm not gonna lie, I'm not that type. Because I just naturally don't do that. So it's like, I'm very sensitive to like conflict. So if a guy gets mad at me, like, or if we're like getting into like a back and forth, and it's like, it's catching me off guard, because it's like, whoa, why are you mad right now? That really does, like, it really does hurt my feelings. Like, I'd be like, what the fuck is wrong with this nigga? Like, why is he so mad? Like, and it literally hurts my feelings. So it's crazy though, because I feel like a lot of guys may look at me like I'm some type of like, boss, bitch, and I'm like, bossy, and I'm like, that type of girl. But I'm really like, I really be like a little sensitive ass little biatch. Let me read some of these comments real quick. So Fresh from a Nap, I love that name. Tell that to how the movie ended. I'm not sure what you're talking about. Sarah said, speaking so much facts right now, and there's nothing wrong with being that type of person for your significant other, as long as it's reciprocal for the right person. Facts. Fresh from a Nap said, cause you want to play with they slow asses. Why are you going in like this? Like that. And real men that look decent never do that. Damn, I still don't even know what you're talking about. I'm sorry. I'm so sorry. Melanin said, hey, Whiskey James, what's your experience with military men, if you don't mind me asking? Fresh from a Nap. Why is your name that? Said, this is your $12 in your pocket type dudes. I guess you're right. You know what I'm saying? I guess you're right. Whiskey James said, all my friends are men, maybe. My mans, my uncles, wait, maybe I shouldn't say that. Okay, all my friends, mans, y'all gotta type better for me, okay? My mans, my uncles, very abusive. I don't need to experience one. They always use religion. Man, what? 1 week is good for me. Listen, these men, they be out of control. They really do be using religion against women. They really do. They be trying to turn women into real life slaves, yo. For real. So yeah. As I got older, right? And I can speak in myself in the present, because this is the phase that I'm in now. I'm still nice, you know what I'm saying? But I'm not nearly as nice as I used to be, especially to guys. I'm a lot more, I just have more, Shannon! Mad at you. But so I have more boundaries that I actually stand on, because before I had boundaries, but I didn't stand on them. You know what I'm saying? So I have boundaries that I actually stand on now, and I have standards that I actually stand on now. So certain guys that I'll make it up to you. You better. So so certain guys that I used to like, that I would have went for, I don't know, 5 years ago or whatever, they still may be generally attractive, or even attractive to the collective, technically, or whatever, to the handsome standard or the beauty standard or whatever. But because I have so much respect for myself now, and because, like I mentioned before, I did date the nice guy. I did date the guy that, had potential, or the guy that was chivalrous, or the nerd, all the right prototypes, right? I did go for that type. And he was still abusive, and he was still controlling. So it's like now it doesn't even matter how a guy even looks to me anymore. Like I used to be like, oh, if he looks good, then, maybe I can, get to know him and see if I like him even more or whatever. But now it's not even about looks for me at all. Now it's just like, who are you? Who are you? Because every time I go by looks, it steers me the wrong way. So who are you? You know what I'm saying? What can our chemistry be when we're around each other? Can we teach each other something? Can you teach me something? Can you put me on game? You know what I'm saying? Like that is like the thing that just like, I guess, you know? Yes, Whiskey James, only time will tell. Only time will tell. Don't be swindled by any type of look. Literally, looks don't matter. They really don't. It's about that person, and it's about who that person is on the inside, how they treat other people. It's about how that person speaks to you when they're angry. Like that's what it's about. you know? So, back to the title of the video, right? Mean girls manifest. Mean girls manifest more. Mean girls manifest better. Mean girls manifest better. Not referring to girls being rude, not referring to girls being nasty, but girls having unwavering boundaries for themselves. Girls having unwavering standards for themselves. If you tell yourself that I'm not going to be with a guy that calls me out my name, right? And the first argument you get in with this guy and he calls you out your name, it's like the universe like, okay, what you gonna do now, bitch? What you gonna do now? You gonna stand on business or you gonna fold? And there was just so many things that I folded for because I was very desperate for a relationship. I wanted to be in a relationship. I wanted to be in love. I wanted to manifest, my one or my better half or whatever the hell I was talking about. They not only get what they need, but what they want. Yeah, exactly. Exactly. And what's crazy, like, is the whole like backward psychology, reverse psychology about this whole thing, right? We have to look at two things. What men say they want and the nature of men. Two different things. And they don't align. Okay? What men say they want is cooperative, is docile, is subservient. They don't say these words because it'll scare women away, but this is what they mean. Subservient, agreeable, peaceful, things like that, right? Now, let's look at the actual nature of men. Men love to trauma bond. I don't care what nobody say. They love to see how riled up a woman can get over them. Cause it's like, how much this bitch love me? You know what I'm saying? How much she really love me? If she don't get emotional over me, she don't really fuck with me. If she don't yell at me, she don't really fuck with me. If she don't get jealous, she don't really fuck with me. So they don't really want a woman in her peace. They want a woman to show them how much emotion they're willing to emit for them. Then, you know how they say men are like predatory, or I meant men are chasers or whatever. In my mind, that translates as predatory. But when men are chasers, right? Why do they say that about men? Because men want a challenge. Docile, submissive is easy, right? But a woman that keeps you on your toes, that's what is exciting to them. So it's like what men say they want versus the nature of men and how they actually behave. It's like two different things. Like, it really is. Okay, so Sheldon said, we just want a helpmate, nothing outrageous. I like that. But, sometimes that also comes with other things, Like, a woman will come into a situation literally wanting to be a helpmate. Like, that's her whole objective, right? But in the process, here go the man. Why are you dressing like that? You must want attention from other males. No, what you mean? I've been dressed like this before I met you. This is just me. No, because there's no reason you should be dressed like that. Don't be posting like that. Then it's like, just other things like, oh, I'm trying to protect you from yourself. Like, what? That's what y'all think protector means? You're trying to protect me from myself? I don't need protection from myself. So that's what my ex used to say to me sometimes. That, not to do this, not to do that, not to wear dresses, not to go places alone because you're trying to protect me from myself. So it's like, even though, women want to come into these situations being a helpmate and, being submissive and all this stuff. Women love being submissive. But it's like the man always has to mess it up by trying to control her. Stop trying to control me. Stop telling me what to do. I'm perfectly fine over here. I'm not cheating. I'm not giving no man attention. I'm not trying to do you dirty. I'm not stealing from you. I'm literally just doing me. And whatever leftover energy, overflowing energy that I have for you, I give to you. But it's like men always feel like they have to control some shit. Like, why? And literally, like, my ex said this out his mouth. Out his mouth. That's how I knew I wasn't going crazy. I feel like I supported everything he did, right? Actually, I know I did. I supported everything he did. I helped, bring his ideas to manifestation. I helped him with content. I helped him with writing his book. I helped him, you know what I'm saying? Like, I wanted to see him in his highest form. But that wasn't enough. That wasn't enough power for him, right? I remember one time he was trying to tell me how to dress and, stop posting TikToks on Instagram or whatever. And I remember like saying to him, like, why are you always like trying to control what I wear and what I do? Like, I've been doing this. Like, I've been easy breezy way before this. And you claim that you were proud of me and you were watching me, glow up, throughout the years, and you were supporting me. But it's like, now you want to take that away. You know what I'm saying? Why do you want to control what I wear? And he literally said, y'all, I mean, I got to control something in this relationship. And I was like, you got to control something in this relationship, what I'm doing is not enough. What I'm doing is not enough. You have to try to control me on top of that just to feel like you're masculine. I'm already cooking for you. I'm already cleaning after you. I'm already trying to be spontaneous and trying to be sexy and, trying to, keep the energy high in the relationship. But that's not enough because I'm willing, right? You have to take it from me to feel like a man. You have to control me to feel masculine. That's not cool. That's not cool. Okay, so I want to approach a woman that's not within my standards. You look amazing though. Thank you. Okay, helping is not doing everything for said person. They have to want it on their own and be willing to receive help. Yes. He said that's beta energy. No, facts. Facts. I remember one time we were arguing because I was like literally fighting for my autonomy and fighting for my life per usual. And and I remember telling him like, why are you always trying to control me? Why are you always, looking at what I'm doing and blah, blah, blah. I was like, focus on you. I was like, you know how to be a leader? You know how to lead? Lead you. And I will follow. You know what I'm saying? That's what being a leader is. You lead yourself. You're led by God. You know what I'm saying? I'm led by God too, but lead yourself. I was like, focus on you. And when I said that, like, his eyes like looked like so wide. Like I just like called him like a broke nigga or something like that. Like I insulted him or something. But I couldn't believe that is the thing that triggered him. Out of all the things I could have said to you, I could have called you a broke ass nigga. I could have called you a fuck nigga. I could have called you a bitch ass nigga. You know what I'm saying? I could have said anything. But the fact that I said, focus on you. You know what I'm saying? Stop bothering me. Focus on you. He did not like that. He did not like that. And that's the moment I realized he thinks that leading in a relationship means controlling the woman. That's what he thinks. I don't know who taught him this. The patriarchy, other misogynistic men. But he literally thinks that leading means controlling me. He doesn't think that leading means being a good example, embodying a good example. He literally thinks that leading means controlling me. And that's the moment I realized we were not here with it. We're not here with it. You know what I'm saying? Okay, so Sheldon said, because you were the big dog. Yeah, I don't like being a big dog. I just want to be a woman. Ugh. Because you were the big dog and he didn't want to lose you to someone that knows how to work with you. That's really crazy. That's really crazy. And it's a blessing, that was revealed to me. But it's really disappointing how men can really feel inferior to a woman that is literally 10 toes for them. You know what I'm saying? That's very unfortunate for men that have that mindset, Your woman can literally just be for you. She could be doing things for you. She could be domesticated. She can be feeding you, making you meals for work. Like, she can literally be doing the wifely things and you still feel inferior. Like, that's insane. I have no words for that. I really don't. I have no words for that. And you know what's also crazy about that situation is, you know, I feel like big dog has to be an energy. It has to be an energy because when we were together, I was not a significant breadwinner. Like our finances were like around the same. Like some days or some months I will make more, some months he would make more. Cause you know I'm like an entrepreneur, so sometimes my money does go down when I'm focused on other things or I'm not focused on my business or promoting or whatever or making content. So our finances were like kind of like this. So it's not like I was like making a significantly more amount of money. It has to be an energy thing. Or maybe it's like the followers, you know what I'm saying? Because maybe followers be having people like smitten or like, it be having people a little dizzy, Nothing wrong with with being a female big dog. I mean, that's cool or whatever. That's cool, but it's like, I don't ever want to intimidate the man that I'm trying to build with. You know what I'm saying? That's just like, I never, first of all, forget even men. I don't want to intimidate anyone. Like, that's why it's like so crazy how like I can't experience having haters. And it's like the people that be hating be like people that I've patronized before, or people that I've tried to like help get to the next level, or people that I've supported. It's like, why hate on me? Like, why me out of all people? Like, I would literally be the best teammate, but you're too busy hating. Like, I just don't get it. You know what I'm saying? And I appreciate, now that I'm, in my solo dolo era, I do appreciate that independent energy. I do appreciate that big dog energy because it just adds more power to me. It increases my aura and, my magnetism or whatever. But yeah, I do feel very bad, when guys feel intimidated by me because it's like, damn, like I can't even turn that off. Like you shit out of luck. Like I can't even turn that off. Okay, so Classic Diva said, "You're right. I've seen mean females attract amazing things far past industry standard of some of what I noticed about this person. And yet many things would seem to slip between her fingers after." Okay, let me read that one more time. You're right. I've seen mean females attract amazing things far past industry standard of some of what I noticed about this person. I'm sorry. You gotta type that again. Don't internalize it. It's on them to love themselves enough to be unbothered. I blame the patriarchy for men's internalized misogyny. I blame the patriarchy for putting this unrealistic standard on men and these unrealistic expectations on men. I blame the patriarchy for making men feel incompetent if they're not in control of something or if they're not trying to control something. I blame the patriarchy. Classic Diva said, maybe my issue with certain aspects of manifestation is I don't want to be mean and I want emotional healing, spiritual advancement, and have the man. That's facts. That's facts. But that's why I mentioned that, we're not talking about mean as in nasty. We're not talking about mean as in you being just a nasty, demonic person or you being, just rude. We're talking about mean in a sense where it's like no means no. Like that type of mean. You know what I'm saying? No means no. Or, if I tell you that I, expect something from my partner, or expect something from a man, and if you're not willing to step up to the plate to provide that for me or to be that type of person, I'm moving on. I'm talking about that type of mean. You know what I'm saying? The type of mean where it's just like you're mean, but you don't garner hate for you, right? I mean, you still may garner, envy in people or whatever, but it's mainly people respect you because you respect yourself. People respect your boundaries because you stand 10 toes on your boundaries, you know? And, I do believe that there are very nice guys out here who are not predatory and don't have a predatory mentality. Not all guys try to take advantage of every situation they're in or every woman that they're with. I don't think that all men try to take advantage. I think there are very sweet guys in the world. I do think that the patriarchy puts pressure on men, though, because men be in some type of like masculinity competition with each other or something. So even if a man doesn't really want to treat you bad, it's like he feels like he has to treat you a certain type of way to seem masculine to other men. So once again, like it goes back to, the patriarchy putting unrealistic standards on men. And men don't realize it's really kicking y'all ass for real. Okay, so Classic Diva said, I'd imagine you can be a big dog in so many ways. If one would find a way to get rid oneself of personal blockages. Um, huh? Let me read it. Okay, I imagine you could be a big dog in so many ways. If one would find a way to get rid of personal. Y'all gotta type slower. I'm so sorry. Y'all got to type slower. Sheldon said the patriarchy was created to protect families, but patriarchy can't exist without duality. So we need a matriarch beside us too. But the world doesn't understand polarity. It's true. It's true. But the reason why, that ideology is it's not a popular ideology is because the US government doesn't have an equal amount of women in power as they do men. It's majority men in the government or men as presidents or men as rulers and things like that. So we don't see examples of women in power. We just don't see it. You know what I'm saying? So even though it feels like men should automatically know to respect women and automatically know, that the power of a woman is beneficial to you. If you just treat her like a human being and if you respect her, we think that should be common sense, but it's really not common sense because we're not given those examples. And even in religion, the prophets, the majority of the prophets, the majority of the leaders, they are men, or at least only the men have their story told, because there's probably hundreds and thousands of powerful women in history and powerful priestess and prophetess, women or whatever, but our story is just not told. You know what I'm saying? And the women that are in these stories and these, whatever, it'd be like motherfuckers like Medusa. You know what I'm saying? Like, and the other only one that we really learn about is Cleopatra. And we don't really even learn how intelligent she was or her influence. All we know is that she was beautiful. So they even reduced her down to that. You know what I'm saying? So it's just like, we don't see it. And we don't see it for a reason. According to, the Christian ideology that Adam and Eve, assuming that really happened, a lot of women feel like women are a natural F up because Eve is the reason we all sin. Like, what? You know what I'm saying? So it's like so many different stories and, you know, people and stuff like that are automatically putting women at a disadvantage as far as our reputation, as far as our capabilities, you know, that women don't even believe that, you know, we even deserve, you know, a certain level of respect. And, you know, I probably would have came up believing that because I grew up Christian. I grew up, half of my family was Christian, half of them were Jehovah's Witnesses. So I grew up reading the Bible, going to Bible study, you know, things like that. But I experienced real love. Sorry. You know what I'm saying? Like, I could have been, you know, I could have had internalized misogyny. I could have accepted abuse. I could have been male centered, you know what I'm saying, instead of God centered. But I had real love. My parents really loved me, you know what I'm saying? So I can't undo that unless somebody hypnotized me and took away all my memories, you know what I'm saying? But the way I, you know, experience love from my parents is the same type of love I feel like everyone should experience. No one should be held back. No one should be controlled, you know? And if a man wants to live his life a certain way and I don't agree with it, then I'm just gonna let him be him. I'm not gonna fight him on it. I'm not gonna be like, you should do this for me, nigga, and you should act like that, and don't do this and don't do that. Like, I can't even imagine myself being that type of girlfriend. Like, what are we talking about here? I can't even imagine myself being that type of girlfriend. What? Okay, we should get a drink and break that down. Oh, I don't want to get you canceled. No thanks, cause you know I have a lot to say. I have a lot to say about my opinion about misogyny and the patriarchy and things like that, and how it is ultimately very counterintuitive and counterproductive for men as a whole. I feel like men can utilize it, but I feel like it's very detrimental to men as a whole. But you know, that is a mouthful, and that's a lot to go into. And that's not what this video is about. So maybe we can just, you know, save that topic for another day. But yes, don't forget, you know, without having standards, without standing 10 toes on your standards, without standing 10 toes on your boundaries, you are making room for anything to happen to you. You are making room for anyone to treat you any type of way. So, you know, when I say mean girls manifest better, it's not that, you know, you can manifest good things in your life being a nasty person, because we all know that can't happen. You know, it's just standing on business about yourself. Stand on business about yourself. Don't fold for nobody. Don't fall for nobody. There's too many people on this planet. There's too many people walking on this earth to be settling for an abusive relationship or an abusive friendship. There's too many people. There's too many people to even settle. You know what I'm saying? So decide what you want first. That's what you have to be clear on. Decide what you want first. Because one thing I can say is, you know, before, when I was going through these situations that forced me to have thick skin, I didn't have any like unwavering boundaries. Like, I knew what was wrong, I knew what felt wrong, but I didn't know that, you know, once someone does this to you, that means that they don't respect you and leave. Like, I didn't have that level of discernment. So now that I do have that level of discernment, I just won't accept it, because I'm not going to go around disrespecting you. I'm not going to go around belittling you. I'm not going to try your intelligence. I'm not even going to try your gangster. I'm not going to try you in no type of way. So the moment you try me, if it's not in a flirtatious way, or if it's not in like a, you know, like a cat and mouse type of thing, like if it's not like that, if you're literally trying to put me down to condition me to accept that type of behavior, I'm cutting it off immediately because there's too many people on this planet. It's too many. All right. So thank you guys so much for tuning into this live. I'm gonna go ahead and wrap it up now, and I don't know, see what's next. I have an appointment really late tonight. I think they're gonna have me on call at like 2 a.m. or 3 a.m. Whew, child. But so yeah, I'm gonna chill out. I'm gonna go find some food. I might get me a drink or something. I don't know. We're gonna see. But thank you guys so much for tuning in once again. And if you are not subscribed to my channel already, make sure you go ahead and do that. Turn on your notifications. And if you were tuned into my lives earlier when I was doing that hair tutorial, look out for that hair tutorial in the next few weeks, because I'm going to upload it and y'all can see what it looks like, you know, when it's finally edited and when the whole thing is polished and complete. But as you can see, when I was going live, you see how ghetto it really is behind the scenes. I be messing my hair up. I be dropping stuff. Girl, it be a whole hot mess. All right. So I'll see y'all in the next live. And yes, once again, thank you.